responsible for NBAF at USDA, I'd like to have dialogue with that person.
We will do that, as we have with Senator Roberts as well, who's vitally interested there. We think Kansas State will do a great job. We think the Department of Agriculture has the core competency to manage the NBAF facility, and we would love to have those conversations. And by the way, your visual there, you've got a Secretary of Agriculture that understands that was a pile of grain sorghum that was vulnerable to the washing machine and solar issues early on.
99 points the price of grain sorghum dropped in my hometown of Plainville, Kansas on the day the tariffs were announced.
We're very mindful of that.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Please come to Kansas.
Senator Tester.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to thank you for being here today, Secretary Perdue. Very much appreciate hearing from you, and I've got a few thank yous. First of all, I thank you for your commitment to use commodities instead of cash. You're right on. I thank you for the work that you did on Brazilian beef. Took a lot of guts, and you did it, and you did it early, and I think it set a standard that I very much like. The Conservation Reserve Program part in your budget, where it's 80% of fields, won't work. If I got a 10-acre field, I'm not going to put 8 acres into CRP and farm the other 2 acres. However, 80% of whole farms will work, and I think that's a good policy. What we saw in the 80s was people putting whole farms in and a mass exodus from the land. So I thank you for your vision, and hopefully you have the same vision in that as I do. I want to talk about crop insurance because when I go home, most people are pretty damn happy with the Farm Bill. They are. And they tell me unequivocally, don't screw up crop insurance. It's our lifeblood. It is our safety net. You know, in this proposal, for the second year in a row, you're going to cut subsidies for crop insurance. And I know there are some out there that don't understand agriculture that think that that's just a good thing to do. You understand agriculture. And I will tell you that it's unacceptable, and I want to know if this is real or if you really have an expectation of us putting that money back in, and this is just a way to make the budget look better.
I think you have rightly articulated my view of crop insurance, certainly, and understand the value of it. And I think it's one of the great programs in 2014 that was guided toward producer risk management that we can continue to utilize.
Yep.
I think, again, I support the crop insurance program, and will support what you all added in 2018 to utilize that. So.
Thank you for that. I would just tell you that, you know, and it's been expressed earlier, we did some stuff on direct payments, and we made crop insurance a better program, I believe.
Right.
I would love to tell you that we don't need taxpayer dollars in that program. I think you'd like it too, but the truth is we do. Otherwise, it'll be unaffordable. People won't use it. We're dealing with nature. We're dealing with volatile markets, and I want to talk about those volatile markets for a little bit. It's been touched on already. Mexico is the biggest importer of American grain in the country. They just signed an agreement with Argentina for 30,000 tons of wheat late last year. Due to a number of reasons, but probably the NAFTA talks, maybe the border wall, maybe tariffs, period. Our largest trading partner, Canada, is uncertain. And look, there's a lot of things wrong with NAFTA. You and I both know, but I'm going to tell you, you pull out of this and it's going to be major havoc to the markets. You combine that with what's going on with TPP, where I believe 11 nations signed it. The United States wasn't part of it. And one of the countries was not China, by the way. We've got a series of things that are going on with the administration that are not going to be helpful for farm gate prices. And so if you combine that with the tariffs on steel and aluminum and the fact that Durham and cattle and other things, China said no, and it's a huge market, and as the chairman said, we should be expanding them, not contracting them. But what I hear on the press is the president's going to say, you know what, don't worry about it, farmers. We're going to give the responsible to Secretary of Perdue to make you whole. Not exactly those words, but that's what I hear. That means that we're going to be depending on more taxpayer dollars, not less. We just talked about the administration's view of cutting aid to crop insurance, and now we're going to turn around and say, you know what, because of what I believe are uncertain trade policies, we're going to take more taxpayer dollars and reimburse farmers who don't want government subsidies as a general rule. They want their paycheck coming from the marketplace. Could you address what you're going to do when, in fact, these markets go to hell? Because they're gonna, and they are.
Well, let's address what we're hopefully will do to keep them from going wherever you say they're going.
Yeah, well, the truth is, Sonny, and I really like you. You're really a good guy, and I mean that. I mean, you're a guy I'd like to go have a beer with. But the truth is this, what's going on right now is having impacts right now today. And I had Lighthizer in my office. He said, we're signing bilaterals. It's been 15 months. Has there been a bilateral signed? I don't know of any. But I know we've backed out of TPP. I know we're talking about backing out of NAFTA. I know we're putting tariffs on Chinese goods. I know, look, I get China's a bad actor. They've been doing stuff. But you put me and my neighbors out of business in the process, and I'm not saying you personally, but the administration,
Sure.
We got a major problem here. So I know it's to get a better deal, but in the meantime, those prices go to hell, we're done.
Let's talk about where we are on the trade negotiations again. I think we had a successful negotiation with Chorus, and that will be announced very soon. Agriculture is better off, no worse off than we were with Chorus. We are expecting, Senator, an agreement on NAFTA that has some improvements for agriculture, maybe not all that we wanted, but some improvements with agriculture on NAFTA. I know that you and I probably wouldn't use the same negotiating style that President Trump does, but it appears that even with China calling the question on some of these things, look, there's no doubt I'm anxious. Producers are anxious. It's their livelihood. It's their future. But we do expect that we can get negotiations here done on those. I think that will relieve the anxiety meter to a degree, and then deal with the China issue.
Okay, well, I would just tell you that we had some pretty damn good years from 08 to 14 in Montana because we had good prices and we had good production. The last 3 years have been pretty tough. If this tax on, the margin for error here is non-existent. People are going to, it's going to be, remember the 1980s. If this doesn't get solved pretty damn quick, we're going to see a repeat of the 1980s. I don't want to see myself losing the farm or my neighbors. That's all. And I know you don't either.
I hear you and I agree with you.
Thanks.
Senator Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Mr. Secretary. It's good to see you. American